Hey everybody, it's Kenny with M-Carbo, and today we are going to be doing a install on an LC carbine in 10mm. We're going to be doing the trigger, and we're going to be doing the trigger spring kit. Tools needed: you're going to need a punch set. Gunsmith shank tool helps. You're going to need some 242 blue Loctite, little hammer, something to put our pieces in, not necessary, but this little magnetic guy helps make sure you don't lose anything. And we got our bench block here as well. So what we're going to be doing, this is a 6061 aluminum trigger. It's got an pre-travel screw, and that allows you to reduce up to 70% of the pre-travel when you have it at the max setting. So that's pretty sweet. And for the spring kit, that's going to lower our poundage about 40%, give or take. So that's always sweet too. So we'll have less pre-travel and less trigger pull weight. So without any further ado, let's get to the install. Alright, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and remove this lower from the upper here. And to do that, we're going to first make sure that the gun is safe. So if you can see, there's no magazine inserted in the mag well. We'll do a couple racks, make sure no bullet pops out. Alright, we're good to go. This gun is clear. So the first thing you're going to do is take your punch, and you are going to punch this takedown pin from left to right. Second thing you're going to do, pull this back and down. Comes right off. Go ahead and set your upper to the side. We'll get the firing pin spring on that. That's what we'll finish up with. But now you've got this. So we've got two pins here. The first thing you're going to do, go ahead and make sure you're on fire. Put your hand over this hammer and just go ahead and let it down easy. That relieves the spring tension here and makes it less likely to fly everywhere. So these two pins here, 1 and 2, and we're going to go ahead and push these out. Left to right. Same with this back one. The front one's going to be shorter, the back one's longer. Voila. Go ahead and put those in your little magnetic holder. Don't want to lose those. Alright, so when it comes out, make sure that's not there. That is your little bolt stop deal. And we'll go ahead and remove this. Perfect. Alright, now we're going to want to go ahead and push out these pins. So we'll start here. There's one. All these trigger pins are going to be, trigger group pins are the same size. Right here, under this bar, is where we get access to the hammer pin. Remove that. And then we'll get the sear. So now all this stuff will just kind of come out. There's your hammer, pin, sear. Take this guy off because that's going to fly off, and then you're left with this. So if you're doing just the spring kit, you can go ahead and do the spring kit. Bump ahead to the video. We're going to go ahead and take this trigger out, so we'll work on that next. Okay, so now we've got all the stuff pulled out of this back end. We can go ahead and start working on this trigger. First thing we're going to want to do is go ahead and remove this roll pin, which is going to allow us access to the pin that retains the trigger, and we can go ahead and start getting all this stuff out. So we'll grab our 1/16 inch punch, get it right there. Alright. There's your roll pin. Go ahead and set that aside. We won't be using that anymore. When you pull this pin out, it's going to allow the safety to shoot out like that. And then there's our spring. Go ahead and set those to the side. And now we have access to this first hole right here. I'm trying to get it on the camera. There's two holes. The further hole right here is the one we're going to want to get. And you're just going to push that out. If you can't push it right out, sometimes it's a little hard. This one's been worked on, so if you can't push it out, you just hit it with your punch. It should come right out. That's going to allow us to remove our trigger return spring. Go ahead and set that to the side. Now you can pull out your trigger pivot and your trigger. Set that aside. You're going to keep your trigger pivot. So now we are on to our M-Carbo trigger. So we're going to take some of this blue 242 Loctite, hit these threads a little bit. You don't want to drown them, but you also don't want to put none on there. Good little amount. There we go, looking pretty good to me. Set that aside. And we're going to go ahead and thread this into the trigger, like so. And that's going to be your pre-travel, so basically you're not going to have a lot of slack in the trigger now. And then I'll get something to wipe this off with, a little paper towel piece. Clean up that Loctite. Looking good. Alright, so now that we've got that in there, let's go ahead and put our Loctite cap back on. Next step is going to be to put this piece in this channel. And you're going to want to do it with this orientation. So if we have it like this angled piece right here, I'm not sure if we're getting it in focus. This angled piece goes actually like this. So you have this cutout here that's kind of a funny shape. Use your imagination there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put this piece in here. Now, this is going to be a little hard the first time. I've actually done this one a few times, so it should be a little bit easier, but you may have a little trouble getting that in there at first. But what you're going to want to do is have it kind of like that. So you're going to want it with the angle facing this direction, and you're going to want it in obviously as much and forward as much as you can. So that's looking good. You're going to want it to look like this. And again, what that's going to do is that set screw is going to ride on there, and that's how we're going to adjust our pre-travel. So now that we've got that, we are good to start installing this trigger. So we'll throw that there like so. Put this here like so. And we're going to grab our trigger return spring, our new trigger return spring. The stock ones are likely going to be black, and your new M-Carbo ones are going to be silver like so. So just drop it in this orientation with that kind of facing about, I don't know, 4:30, 5 o'clock, down like this. And then push this back. I like to keep this little arm on so it stays there. And what we're going to do is grab our trigger retaining pin here. See if you can put it in my hand. We're going to grab this guy again, and we're going to just kind of drop it in there. If you have some fine needle nose, that'll work, but really what I do is I just drop it like this, come in with my punch, just kind of wiggle her around, get in there. There we go. Make sure you got it all set as far as it'll go. We're looking good there. Alright, so now to make sure your over travel is set good, we'll pop this guy off here again. And what we're going to want to make sure is that we have full range of motion here. All the way back, all the way forward. So the forward, that's not what we're looking at. What we're looking at is right there. So actually, you can back this screw out a little. Just a little bit at a time until you see that it won't go fully back. So that's we went a little too far. Tighten it back up. I want to go a little bit more. Really, all the way screwed in is pretty close to what you'd want. Alright, you can see that this goes all the way back, all the way forward. Alright. So now, we're going to want to start working on this hammer, sear, all that good stuff. So here's our hammer. Here's our sear. Here's our 3 pins. The reason I did that, we do the trigger first and instead of the other way around, is because if you do this first, then you're going to be moving around with that trigger. These pins aren't really held in there very well, and they're going to flop out. Stuff's going to fly out. It's annoying. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do is attack this sear. Here's your sear spring. Looks like this. There's your sear spring. There's your sear. You're going to want to put it like this. Try to get it to focus. It's going to look like that. And then we're going to grab our little slave. Where's it at? Over here. Okay. And you put that slave in. And that's what we're doing, is retaining this spring. It makes our life a lot easier. So we'll set that to the side. I like to take this trigger bar and then kind of move it like that so I can get this in. These springs are going to go forward and down, so it goes in like this. Alright. Now make sure your bar is under this leg here. Trigger bar goes under the leg. Now we're going to take a punch and we're going to punch out that slave pin from the right side to the left side so that this becomes basically a slave pin and stays retained. The spring stays retained, so you just kind of, there we go. Now we got that slave out. Go ahead and test it, make sure the spring is, everything's going good. You see we got tension there, so that's good. So now we're going to basically just walk this pin back in as we're pushing the punch out. Simple stuff. All right. And you know, you might have to jiggle it around a little and finesse it in there. Just got to tap it in. My boy Stubbs, just tap it in there. All right. So now that's good. We've got our bar under it. We got tension. We're good to go. Next, hammer. We're going to put this hammer in from the bottom, and to do so, you want it in this orientation, like so, right? And we're going to push down on our sear and come up from the bottom. All right, now we're lined up. You can see that's good. Let's go ahead and put that pin in there. Just drop this pin in. Bam, easy. All right, next, we've got the hammer spring and the dingus. Go ahead and remove that spring. Throw it in your pile. Come here with your M-Carbo spring, and it just goes on like that. Pretty easy. In that orientation right there. All right, so then you're going to grab your stuff. Now remember, these pins fall out if I go like this, you know. So really what we want is to push that hammer forward, and you can see there's a channel right here on your hammer, and this goes in here, and then your spring is going to be facing the back. So once you have that in, you're just going to drop your pin in from this side, and then we're good. Bam. We are getting there. We are almost there, actually. So now everything's installed. Everything's looking good. We're going to go ahead and start putting some of these other pieces on. I believe this is your bolt release here and spring. You drop it in there. Drop that spring in there. This leg goes in that hole, that bottom hole, and then you're going to catch the leg of the spring on top of this part right here. And basically push it in and push it up, and then you can just kind of test function. You can feel it. That's what you want. Alright, so remember, try to keep everything on this angle here so that we're not losing stuff. This little guy is going to go in this hole here. I don't really want to bend it. It's going to go in that hole there from the right side. And actually, you know what? We didn't set this spring, so we're going to do that real quick. So to set the trigger return spring, I'm trying to get it so I don't lose these pins. You just grab it with your shank, come around. It's going to tap you a few times. Come around, push it down. We're good. Now we've got tension on that. Hold this guy in place. Awesome. And now we're going to grab this and just kind of set it in like that. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and install this back into the grip module. And like I say, this is how everything's going to look. That's going to come out, of course. Let's just go ahead and set this aside so I can show you. But that's how you want it. You want this hammer back like this. And we're looking good. So this part right here, we're going to butt up right here. And then we're going to pull the trigger a little, get it in there, and rock it in. So we'll go like this. This spring rides right here where my ring finger is. It's going to ride right in there. So you just set it up against that, put it like this here, and then we're good. Grab these, your little bolt thing. Alright, now to press this trigger so you can get it in there. What's happening? There we go. Push that like that. Alright, we're looking good. Grab your short pin up front, rubber side, that plastic side, just kind of tap that in gently there. We're going to grab our bigger pin for the back. Set it there. Now let's just go ahead and test function while we got everything here. So we'll push this hammer back. Looking good. So that is now complete. Next step, we're going to go ahead and do the firing pin spring, and to do that we're going to remove the bolt. So we'll be right back with you. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and replace the firing pin spring. This is actually the easiest part. We're pretty much home free. We'll set that in there, and how we do this is we're going to go ahead and pull this bolt back. I'm going to grab this bolt out like so. Slowly let your bolt forward. And this one, super easy, guys. Alright, so you got a pin here. We're going to remove that pin in this direction. It can't go out that way. It's captured. It's got a head there. And what we're going to do is push in slightly on our firing pin. Probably don't even have to, really. And then that pin's going to come out. Keep your finger over the firing pin because it can shoot out. There we go. So there's your black Ruger OEM spring. Here's our silver M-Carbo spring. And it's as easy as this. You just go ahead and set it on your firing pin. Have the firing pin in the up orientation with these notches here. And go ahead and insert it back in this channel. And then simply just push it in. Going from this side. Bam! That thing's installed. I mean, you can't get much easier than that. Now, put this bolt back in. We'll go ahead and pull it back. Drop it in that slot right there. It can only really go in one way. Let your bolt forward. We're going to grab our FCU. Let's go ahead and push this out. And we're pretty much there, guys. We're going to grab our FCU here. Trigger control module. I don't know. Push it forward. Push your bolt in. Now let's go ahead and function check. Everything's together. Let's see if we're doing anything. reset. I mean, look, there's not really much play. Like right there, that's where it goes. I mean, that pre-travel set nice. And now you've completed install of the trigger spring kit and the trigger for the LC Carbine 10 mil. You're ready to go to the range. This thing's sweet, man. Love it. All right, MCarbo guys, you have a nice day.